The police gang unit said recruitment activity had moved completely underground. No visible operations, no identifiable patterns. What they didn't know was that the answer was running a mini golf course downtown, recognizing gang initiation rituals through the eyes of someone who had spent nearly 2 decades dismantling youth criminal organizations. Welcome to the Human Stories. Before we begin this powerful story of protecting children from predators who hide behind family entertainment, tell me in the comments, what city are you watching from today? And if you believe stories like this deserve to be heard, hit that subscribe button. These stories matter. Sunny Acres. Mini golf sat on 2 acres of carefully maintained artificial turf, complete with 18 holes that wound around windmills, castles, and water features designed to challenge putting skills while providing wholesome family entertainment. The course opened every morning at 10 a.m., drawing parents looking for activities with their children, teenagers on dates, and birthday party groups seeking affordable fun in a safe environment. Ray Santos had owned and operated the course for 4 years, greeting families with the kind of patient friendliness that made parents feel comfortable leaving their children to play while they relaxed on nearby benches. At 59, he looked exactly like what he claimed to be, a retired businessman who had discovered that running a family entertainment venue allowed him to stay active while contributing something positive to his community. But Ray's observation of teenage behavior went far beyond normal customer service. While most business owners focused on equipment maintenance, customer satisfaction, and revenue management, Ray automatically monitored youth group dynamics with the trained eye of someone who understood how criminal organizations identified, approached, and recruited vulnerable young people. What the families didn't know was that Ray Santos had never been a businessman. For 17 years, he'd been Detective Ray Santos, Gang Intelligence Unit, specializing in youth recruitment prevention, gang initiation investigations, and cases where criminal organizations targeted children through seemingly innocent community venues. He'd infiltrated gang networks, prevented recruitment operations, and developed expertise in recognizing the subtle social patterns that preceded the destruction of young lives through criminal indoctrination. His retirement 4 years ago had been planned. His ability to identify gang recruitment tactics had been permanent. Great shot, Ray called out to 8-year-old Maya Chen, who had just made her first hole-in-one on the castle hole. But his attention was on the group of teenagers at hole 15, where older kids were conducting what looked like casual conversation but followed the social dynamics he recognized as gang recruitment assessment. The pattern was subtle but unmistakable, older teens evaluating younger ones for toughness, desperation, and family instability. Questions disguised as friendly interest about home situations, school problems, and financial stress. Classic recruitment screening that identified children vulnerable to gang promises of belonging, protection, and easy money. Mr. Santos, said Jennifer Lopez, a regular customer whose 10-year-old son Miguel played mini-golf every Saturday while she worked a second job. Miguel says some older kids have been asking him about coming to hang out after the course closes. Should I be concerned? Ray's training immediately activated. After-hours recruitment was a standard gang tactic, isolating potential recruits from parental oversight while introducing them to criminal activities presented as exciting adventures rather than dangerous criminal initiation. "I'll keep an eye on things," Ray said, which was exactly what he'd been doing since the recruitment activity began 3 weeks ago. Over the next week, Ray found himself conducting the kind of covert observation that had characterized his police career. Not obvious surveillance, just the careful documentation of social patterns that distinguished normal teenage interaction from systematic criminal recruitment. The older teens weren't regular customers. They appeared during peak family hours when the most children would be present, targeted kids who seemed isolated or troubled, and coordinated their approaches with the kind of organization that suggested adult supervision rather than teenage spontaneity. Most concerning, they were using gang initiation language disguised as gaming challenges, dares that escalated from harmless pranks to minor vandalism to situations that would compromise children's legal status and make them dependent on gang protection. Ray, said Maria Santos, no relation, whose 13-year-old daughter had started acting differently after meeting new friends at mini-golf. Isabella wants to go to some party tonight with kids I've never met. She says they're just friends from the golf course, but something feels wrong. Ray had heard this exact conversation hundreds of times during his gang unit career. Parents noticing behavioral changes that indicated their children were being recruited into criminal organizations through social manipulation disguised as friendship. That evening, Ray did something he hadn't done since his official retirement. He called a number that connected him directly to people who still fought the battles he'd once led. Gang Intelligence Unit, Detective Lisa Rodriguez speaking. Lisa, this is Ray Santos. There was a pause. Ray, how's the mini-golf business? Complicated, Ray said, sitting in his course office with behavioral notes and photographs that looked like normal business documentation, but represented evidence of systematic youth recruitment. Lisa, I need to report gang recruitment activity targeting children at my location. Detective Rodriguez had worked with Ray for 5 years before his retirement. She knew that when Ray Santos called about gang recruitment activity, it meant criminal organizations were targeting children and needed to be stopped immediately. What are you seeing? Ray provided details with the precision that had made him legendary in gang intelligence operations. Recruitment patterns, behavioral indicators, organizational structure, and tactical approaches that suggested coordinated criminal recruitment rather than normal teenage social dynamics. Ray, Rodriguez said after he finished, will coordinate with youth crimes and gang task force units. Can you maintain normal operations while we develop surveillance? Affirmative, Ray said, but they're accelerating the recruitment timeline. Based on the pattern progression, they'll be moving kids to initiation phase within the next week. What happened next was 17 years of gang intelligence expertise compressed into the most important business operation of Ray's civilian life. He returned to Sunny Acres the following morning, not just as a mini golf course owner, but as an experienced detective conducting a counter-recruitment operation in an environment where gang members thought their activities were invisible among family entertainment. Over the next week, Ray coordinated with Detective Rodriguez's team to document the full scope of the recruitment network. The gang was using mini golf courses, arcade centers, and other family venues across 3 different neighborhoods to identify and recruit children whose parents trusted these locations to be safe environments. We've arrested 6 suspects and prevented the recruitment of 12 children, Rodriguez told him, during a briefing at the course after the operation concluded. The network was targeting kids from single-parent families and using your location as the primary assessment and initial contact point. What was the planned escalation, Ray asked. Street-level drug dealing with the promise that successful kids could advance to more profitable criminal activities. Classic recruitment model that starts with seemingly harmless social interaction and progresses to full gang initiation within 90 days. The investigation revealed that the gang recruitment network had been operating for over 8 months, systematically targeting family entertainment venues to identify vulnerable children while avoiding detection from parents who assumed these locations were safe from criminal influence. Local news covered the story as a major gang recruitment bust by specialized police units, with no mention of the mini golf course owner who had recognized the recruitment patterns or the gang intelligence veteran who had provided the expertise that protected dozens of children from criminal exploitation. A few weeks later, the city's Youth Services Department approached Ray about developing gang awareness programs for recreational facilities. Mr. Santos, said Youth Services Director Patricia Williams, We understand you have some experience in recognizing concerning teenage behavior. Ray looked around his mini golf course where families were enjoying safe entertainment, children were playing games without being targeted for recruitment, and parents could trust that their kids were having fun rather than being evaluated by criminal predators. "Some," he said simply, "we'd like to train other recreational facility operators to recognize gang recruitment signs. Would you be willing to help develop those protocols?" "Of course," Ray replied. "Protecting children is everyone's responsibility, especially when criminals try to use family entertainment venues for recruitment activities." What the Youth Services Director didn't know was that she'd just asked one of the region's most experienced gang intelligence specialists to train recreational facility operators to recognize exactly the kind of youth recruitment tactics Ray had spent his career stopping. Ray never told his customers about his gang intelligence background or the recruitment networks he'd dismantled. He never mentioned the gang initiation ceremonies he'd prevented or the children he'd protected from criminal exploitation. He just operated his mini golf course every day, provided safe family entertainment, and quietly watched for recruitment patterns that indicated criminal organizations were targeting children for gang initiation. But word spread through law enforcement that if anyone noticed unusual teenage group dynamics at recreational facilities, they should probably consult with the owner of Sunny Acres Mini Golf. Not officially, of course, just as a professional courtesy to someone who understood how gang recruitment operations worked. Every morning at 10 a.m., Ray opened his course and prepared for another day of family entertainment. Most days, the biggest challenge was maintaining the water features and replacing golf balls that disappeared into the landscaping. But some days, when his trained instincts recognized recruitment patterns that threatened children's futures, Ray Santos was exactly where he needed to be, between innocent kids and gang members who would exploit family entertainment venues to destroy young lives. Because that's what you do when you've spent your career protecting children from gang recruitment. You don't stop when you retire. You just find a new way to ensure that places designed for family fun remain safe from criminals who would use them as hunting grounds. And sometimes the most sophisticated gang prevention in a community is provided by someone who looks like they're just trying to keep the mini golf course running smoothly. Ray had spent 17 years investigating gang recruitment that destroyed entire neighborhoods through youth exploitation. Now he spent his retirement ensuring that one family entertainment venue remained a place where children could play games without being evaluated for criminal recruitment. The mission was the same. The children were the same. The only difference was that now, instead of investigating gang crimes after young lives were destroyed, he was preventing recruitment before children could be targeted. And every day, as families enjoyed safe entertainment at Sunny Acres Mini Golf, Ray Santos watched with the eyes and experience of someone who knew the difference between teenage friendship and criminal recruitment, ready to protect both the children and the community that trusted his course to be a safe place for family fun. So the next time you take your family to a mini golf course, arcade, or other entertainment venue, remember that the person running the facility might have expertise far beyond customer service. The owner ensuring your children have fun might be the same person protecting them from gang members who would use innocent entertainment as a recruitment opportunity. Have you ever met someone like Ray? Someone whose retirement business perfectly positioned them to protect children from threats their parents never considered? Share their story in the comments below. Tell us about the quiet professionals who never stop watching for predators who target our most precious community members. Thank you for watching The Human Stories. If this story moved you, subscribe and share it with someone who believes in protecting children from gang recruitment, because the world needs more people like Ray Santos, professionals who understand that some protection is too important to end with retirement. Until next time, remember that guardians come in all forms. Sometimes they wear police badges and investigate gang crimes. Sometimes they operate mini golf courses and watch for recruitment patterns. But they're always protecting children from criminal exploitation, always ensuring that family entertainment remains safe from those who would use it to destroy young lives. And sometimes the most important gang prevention in your neighborhood comes from someone who spent their career learning exactly how criminal organizations recruit children and refuses to let them operate in any community he calls home.